My feelings for Thomas are very deep, and we want to spend the rest of our lives together. This is Thomas. He was so sweet. Thomas is a whole package with personality and looks. He agrees that we have a major connection. I did immediately fall in love with Thomas. I love the way he makes me feel, knowing that I am the only one. I feel as though there is not a bad bone in his body. He says, "My heart is so filled with you, my love." He water skis, and so do I. He sent me a beautiful Valentine's Day poem. "You make everything come to life. I just smile and thank God you're mine." It totally grabbed my heart. He was married for 24 years, and his wife was killed in a car accident Christmas Eve, 2009. He called me on Christmas Eve. I knew that would be a sentimental day for him. Thomas is the perfect guy for me. He is so sincere, devoted. He is the full package. I am the only person that believes Thomas is real. On October 14th, I joined Match.com, and Thomas met me shortly after. Thomas said he wanted to concentrate on our relationship, so we both canceled our subscription, and we started texting. "You are my true love, and how I have missed you." He emailed me a very long email telling me his entire life, from the time he grew up in Estonia to the death of his wife. We were going to meet, then he couldn't because he had a meeting with his colleagues. He works as an independent contractor for an oil rig. Things happened fast and he had to leave. They were picking him up for the Gulf of Mexico. That was quite a while ago, and he's still not home. And we could no longer talk on the telephone. These servers were down. I was waiting day after day, week after week. All of a sudden it was 19 days, and I hadn't heard from him.
I've showed you the photoshopped photos. I've showed you a guy with the same name.
Then who's texting me? Who's calling me? Whose pictures are those?
I'm sure my mom is being catfished. Every time they made plans, he had a meeting. Thomas doesn't have any social media, which is a red flag for me. Most of the pictures he sent her look photoshopped. This oil rig photo here, come on. I think Thomas plops the same face in every photo. I can't find the guy behind the photos. Mom had a photo of Thomas on her coffee table and we all made fun of her, so she took it down. If an attractive man shows her attention, she's in love. My mom said that he said he's ready to retire after this job so they can live happily ever after.
I want Thomas to be real. I would give up a lot of things to have this be true.
Let me ask you, Mindy, you believe 100% she's being scammed.
Absolutely, totally scammed.
But you just can't prove it.
I can't.
You've tried, and you say if this guy's a scam, he's good at it because you just can't catch him.
Exactly.
You can't prove it, and you think she can't prove it because he's not a scammer.
Correct.
Okay, now, Karen, you've got a gut feeling about Thomas. What is that gut feeling telling you?
The gut feeling is that he's real. He's a full package. He's honest, he's loyal, he's committed, he's handsome.
We've done a lot of these shows, and you say you watch all the time, so you've seen...
I've watched them, yes.
You've seen these shows that we've done with people that fall in love with somebody on the internet that they never meet.
Yep.
And there's always an excuse. And you've run into that. There have been excuses.
We no more than met, and he had to meet with colleagues that following weekend. He goes, but the following weekend for sure. But then keep your fingers crossed, the job was gonna call him away, possibly.
Yeah, but I mean, doesn't this start to ring a bell and say, there are parallels here? Because he's gonna meet, but something comes up. Then you're gonna meet, but well, colleagues need him. But then you're gonna meet, but then the job it's gonna be next weekend, and it turns into 4 months. And I mean, you're at least open to the fact that there are parallels here.
Yes, and now it is almost 5 months, but he's gonna be home the end of this month. Supposedly.
Maybe, but you've watched some women sit in this chair and some men sit in this chair, and you've looked at it shaking your head and saying, yo, come on.
Exactly, but this is different.
Here are some excerpts from emails that Thomas has sent to Karen, and there's a reason that she feels that he's real and genuine and honest and loving and caring. Dear Karen, I'm not a game player. So we know he's not a game player because he just said he wasn't.
Honest man.
Born near Tartu, Estonia. Mother suffered from manic depression, bipolar disorder. Father's alcoholic consumption became obsessive. I stepped into the role of father for my sister. Put myself through college at the University of Aberdeen, UK. 1-year program, master's degree in geology. Moved here a few months ago from Seattle. Lost my older sister. Mental health ended her life. Buried too many. My partner died from a car accident on Christmas Eve, 2009, married 24 years. I'm an old world man, vintage, antique more than modern, but appreciate all art. Are you on overload yet? Smiley face. Thomas D. McPherson. Now these are just excerpts from a long email that he sent you, right?
Correct. Yes, it is.
And when I saw this long email, you probably thought, wow, he's disclosing a lot, right?
Correct.
He's just putting it all up front.
Yes, he told me his whole life.
Yeah, and you thought, wow, transparency.
Yes.
You know what I thought? He's fast-tracking her.
Oh,
I thought he's fast-tracking her. He's just going to put it all out here at one time so he doesn't have to slow play this. Mindy, you say one of the things that caused you to be suspect is, well, common sense, but you said he has no social media.
Right, no social media.
So if you find out about somebody and in this day and time, you expect that they're going to have some kind of electronic trail in their life, like they use credit cards, or you can track where they've been to school,
Right.
or maybe they have a Facebook page, and not
Right.
everybody's on social media, but you expect there's going to be some way
Something somewhere.
that, like a snail, they've left a trail somewhere.
Yep.
The only thing you had was a Match.com profile.
Right.
And
Yeah,
how long had you been on Match.com when the love of your life hit you up?
3 hours. And the next day, we both ended our subscription because we found each other.
Okay.
Took it over to text.
So you immediately canceled, both of you,
Yes, he did first, and then I wanted to as well.
because he said he wanted to invest himself in you.
You got it. And no one else.
Okay. Now, there were a lot of photos that were sent to you,
Yes.
and we're looking at some of them now that he sent you, and he's pretty active. He's like water skiing here. And,
Yes.
Um,
We both are water skiers, and
Yeah.
we were gonna water ski together.
but you'd have to meet to do that,
Yes. We're gonna meet
Okay.
the end of the month, this month.
right?
I hope 10 grand is the final straw.
After about 4 or 5 weeks talking to Thomas, we had a situation and he needed 10,000.
I didn't know till after the fact that my mom sent Thomas money. She does not have the financial means to just give money away.
He also asked for gift cards.
What is this?
These are all the cards that I sent.
She would scratch off the back of them and send him pictures for him to use.
He is still asking for gift cards. Thomas was using them for manuals for the transmission.
I found out they were for Match.com subscriptions.
After a few more weeks, he asked if I could spare some more money to send him. I said I was sorry. I cannot send him any more money. He said that was fine. Because he continued talking to me, I knew he was not catfishing.
When she stopped sending him money, he started just taking longer and longer to respond to her texts. He started going as long as 10 days, and most recently it was 19 days before she heard from him. When he finally texted her back, she was just so emotional and crying. She thought she was never gonna hear from him again.
If I could choose between him or the money, I would definitely want to be with him.
Okay, so you say that you knew he was real because when you said, I can't send you any more money, he didn't stop communicating with you.
He never got angry, never got upset. That's okay, we'll work it out. It's not a
Right.
problem.
You were talking 2-3 times a day, right? Communicating
At
2
the
or 3 times a day?
Yes.
And then when you said, I can't send you any more money, it went from 2 or 3 times a day to as long as
True.
19 days.
The The 19 days was only the very last time.
Well,
Before
right,
that,
but
yes.
come on now. Okay, come on. You were 2 or 3 times a day, and you said no more money, and then things started stretching out.
We were 2, 3 times a day for quite a while. But then, especially when he had to go to the Gulf of Mexico, the servers were down. They had to rebuild the server. After a while, he no longer could call at all, he said, but he can still text when the servers were up and running.
Here's a text exchange, March 10th. And things had really slowed down because of servers and satellite phones and problems, according to you. But things had really slowed down.
Correct.
So on March 10th, Karen says, I miss you. Could you please let me know if you're not going to communicate with me anymore? So you said that because things had slowed down so much.
And now it's over 2 weeks, I think, or something.
Yeah,
This is
you
recent,
said
yes.
that you trusted him because when you said no more money, he kept contacting you.
Yes.
But it had slowed down so much that you send this text message
Correct.
that says, I miss you. Could you let me know if you're not going to communicate with him more?
Right.
I could send you another $10,000. Now, it's been 2 weeks since you heard from him. That's a yes or no question. That's not an essay question.
Yes, it was 2 weeks since she heard from him at that
You
point.
just said it
Yes.
had been 2 weeks, right?
Yes, but I said that hoping he would
reply.
get back to me.
You think?
Because of the money? Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry.
so you haven't heard from him since February. It's been 2 weeks. So on March 10th, you say, am I ever going to hear from you
Right.
again?
Correct.
I could send you another 10,000.
Correct.
So you throw some bait out there.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, March 11th, the very next day, servers gets fixed, satellites get fixed, satellite phones start working.
I'll give you that.
And he says, honey, are you not getting my messages?
I'll give you that. That's the way I felt.
You dangle 10 grand and all of a sudden, satellites are linking up all over the universe.
Okay.
Things are working. Let's look at the screen right behind his head. Do you notice here that this is bent right here?
Yeah.
This is clear evidence of photoshopping. And if you look right here where his head joins the body, it just goes black right there. It goes black right in this area here. And if you look up here, you notice this monitor?
Yeah.
It's bent. You see this edge right here? That edge is, why would that computer monitor be bent? See, right here, it's perfectly straight.
Oh.
But over here, it's bent. Why would that be bent? Well, it would be bent because that's been photoshopped. They've patched this head in here like a jack-o'-lantern. And if you notice the expression on his face here, and pay particular attention to the expression on his face. It's kind of a very handsome guy, clearly, but kind of a relaxed half smile, and he's looking off. But pay attention to that expression, okay? Now, let's look at the next picture. Here, he's holding something, because you asked, prove to me that you're really you by holding a sign that says, good morning, Karen. Okay. Have you ever seen this expression before?
Looks a little familiar.
That's exactly the facial expression that was in the other photo. Exactly, that kind of half relaxed smile. And do you notice he's holding this piece of paper here? And this might seem kind of obscure, But if you're holding a piece of paper with two fingers here like this, now they've cut off his hand in the picture there, but see my two fingers?
Mm-hmm.
What do you notice about these two fingers that I'm holding here?
You can't hold it alone with
Well,
just
they're
the two
different
fingers.
lengths, right?
Yeah.
Oh, mm-hmm.
And to get those where they're the same length is almost impossible.
Awkward.
But notice here, they're exactly the same. They're exactly the same length right here because those are fingers that have been photoshopped in. Okay? And do you notice, where do you reckon he's standing? Is he skydiving right now? There's no background.
There's no background. I want to know what's with the shirt.
There's nothing behind him. There's no wall, there's no lamp, there's no ocean, there's no oil rig, there's no trees, there's no wall. Where is he? And the color pattern over his right shoulder, see, this is kind of yellow here, and it just goes to white over here. And it's hard to know this if you don't, but he's a very slender, athletic, kind of trim guy. The distance from center line to out here is way too far. It's disproportionate to his body. This is a wide body. Here, this whole thing is just patched together and not very well. Okay, now let's look at another one. This is him working in the Gulf of Mexico, supposedly. And again, here he is on the oil rig. Look at the expression. He's hanging on the side of an oil well, and he's got the same expression he did sitting in the chair in the office. Same smile, same, and what is this helmet he's got on his head? It looks like a cereal bowl. That's a cross between a cereal bowl and that helmet you see from the 30s where they shoot people out of a cannon. This isn't a safety helmet. What the hell is that? They've just photoshopped something on top of that head, and you have the same black in here.
Mm-hmm.
And what's he?
So he wore a black shirt that day.
What's he on here?
It's an oil rig.
Climbing down the side of it.
Yeah.
Same face.
What kind of helmet is that?
I don't know helmets other than a bike helmet.
It's an oil rig helmet.
What do you think about the expression? He's had a lot of Botox or something because he never changes expression.
I know, isn't he cute?
Well, I hope you like that expression because it never changes.
He's a happy guy.
Okay, so here's the side-by-side. You have to acknowledge it's the same face every time. I think if you set him on fire, he would have the same facial expression.
I get that.
Yeah. Just tilt it a
Okay.
little bit the other way.
Yeah.
So is it possible that these are Photoshop pictures?
I agree.
So
That they
why
would be.
would the man of your dreams send you Photoshop pictures?
To give me a better understanding of where he is and what he's doing. Because protocol has it they couldn't be taking pictures like that. So he says.
So they were for his eyes, her eyes only.
Yes,
Those
they were for my
photos.
eyes only. Mm-hmm.
Then why not send you a real picture?
They are. Of him in the blue shirt.
Those are real photos of someone.
That's not a real photo of him on the side of that rig
Right.
with a cereal bowl on his head.
I agree. Okay.
So why send you that?
To give me an idea of where he is and what he's doing.
There's a satellite phone that Thomas uses, right? He's talking to you on.
A couple different ones, yes.
Right. And he says it keeps breaking down and because the satellites are
Right.
falling out of the sky or something. Well, so we had a private eye look into this. We hired a private investigator on your behalf to determine what was going on with this. And the phone number that's being used is not a satellite phone. It's not even a satellite phone. It is a bandwidth.com VoIP number that's registered to a woman. And it's not at all a satellite phone. The calls are not originating in the Gulf of Mexico. This is an internet phone. It's not a satellite phone. It's not registered to the person that you think it's registered to.
Nope.
So this is not him calling you on a satellite phone from the Gulf of Mexico.
I've told her that several times.
It's registered to some
Yep.
woman somewhere.
It's a texting app, calling app.
But that can change, right? Like he went to a different phone. So now maybe that phone was registered to a woman and now he has a different one. No?
How long had you been on Match.com when the love of your life hit you up?
3 hours.
Catfish
I want to look at some of these photos.
or great catch?
What is this helmet he's got on his head? It looks like a cereal bowl.
New Dr. Phil. Check your local listings.